So hello and welcome to the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. It's going to be a really thrilling monthly final with me, Matt Payne. I'm here solo for our monthly final in February for the Sunday Race Club for the men's race, because everyone at the moment is busy with the women's race, which currently in the category 6 race is approaching the 28-kilometre mark and about 12 kilometres covered for the category 1 women at the moment. It's a really thrilling race, and make sure you do go give that a watch, and make sure, of course, whilst you're on YouTube or on Twitch TV, hit that subscribe button as well. Here for the men's race, it is our monthly final, so our team's competition as well as our individual competition comes into play, and that means, of course, that the teams will be battling it out for those team prizes. 7 teams in the team competition taking home prizes today. 10 individuals in the overall race, plus, of course, the climbs competition, the sprints competition, prizes through the checkpoints as well, all part of MyWhoosh, and that Sunday Race Club that comes to you each and every week, 52 weeks of the year. And don't forget, of course, for the next 3 weeks after this, we'll be at the same time with the women's and men's races happening basically pretty much the same time all the way through to the end. And if you are celebrating Ramadan, then Ramadan Kareem. I hope you have a great Ramadan on the way through if you're observing that between now and the end of Ramadan. So let's take you through today's course. We have got a big course today. It's big in all senses. It's 55 kilometres long, 55.5k. So going to take us right the way through from sea level, which is where we start off on the left-hand side of the course descriptor there, right the way across through 2 climbs of the Dragon's Fury climb, because it is 2 full laps. We then go across and climb back up out from well below sea level back up to sea level twice after the mountains before then heading off to our final climb, which is the Trongsa Crescent climb. Now, the Dragon's Fury climb, checkpoints at the top of all of those. Those climbs are 5 kilometers long, 5% average gradient, and climbing 250 plus meters each time. The final climb is steeper. It's 6.1%. It climbs a slightly less elevation at 242 meters, but it continues climbing after we go through the checkpoint to our finish line. And the key thing to remember as we make our way up is that when we finish going through the final checkpoint at 55.1k, we then have another 400 meters to our finish line. Along the way, we have our 2 sprints, which are the Trongsa Sprinters. That comes at 18 and at 41 kilometers into race route here today. There are prizes for each of those checkpoints on the way through. Riders scoring points in the climb and the sprints competition. It's 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1 points for each time the riders go across in first, second, third, fourth, and fifth places through those checkpoints. And all 6 categories have prizes in the climbs, in the overall climbs competition for the climbs checkpoints, for the overall sprint competition and the sprint checkpoints, for the overall race finish as you go across that finishing line for the top 10, as well as for our top 7 teams. Being in a team is going to help today because, as you can see, whilst the first 2 climbs are predominantly tailwind climbs, the section through the lower part of the course is headwind and cross headwind, and then we have some nasty headwind sections on the Trongsa Crescent climb. And to put that final climb into perspective, it's not an easy climb by any stretch of the imagination. Maximum gradient on that section, of course, is 18%. And if you hit that when you hit the headwind as well at the same time, you're really going to feel it. It's going to be very, very tough indeed. It's going to be a course that's going to test our riders' ability to stay in the bunch. It's got 3 climbs. The last climb up to our summit is going to be very, very critical indeed. Our riders need to treat this realistically, as each of those checkpoints are going to be almost a finish line at the top of the climbs. We'll see how our teams get on. 6 categories. 6 is our standard race category with the riders in purple jerseys. The riders running through 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Right the way up to our elites with their yellow jerseys. And all those riders setting off at a different time out onto the race route. The category 6 first, the category 1's last. And we just got just over a minute until we set off with category 6. Our category 6 race field today is a big race field, as always in the men's race. 79 riders on our start sheet, 11 teams, 5 teams of 5, 4 teams of 4, and 2 teams of 3. And the teams with 5 riders, so plenty to spare for that 3 riders that counts. Cycling District 6A, along with the Level Carbon Squad, Level Steel, the Level Titanium Squad, and Ride Club Finland all have 5 riders in there. Teams with 4, BMC Spinergy, BMC 6, along with BMC 6s, the BMC 60s as well, all with 4, and then the minimum number of 3. So the 3 fastest riders in each team to count. If you've got 3, well, they are the 3. The teams with 3, 2 teams of 3, and that is Quo Vadis, along with the ZTBR Yano Mani squad. They have 3 riders apiece. Last time in our January finals, the team win was taken by Level Titanium from Level Carbon from the BMC 6 squad. They were your podium teams last time around. The winning time, 4 hours, 30 minutes and 11.6 seconds. What will our team time be today? Will it be Level Titanium on the top level of that podium? It's time to go racing in our monthly final on Sunday Race Club here on MyWhoosh in Bhutan as the snow falls at the side of the riders. It's a very quick start, and this start is super critical because we're going to pick up speed and go into that descent. If you're new to MyWhoosh, welcome. It's good to have you along with us. The MyWhoosh platform, of course, the UCI partner for cycling esports for 2024, 25 and 26 at the moment. And of course, also news coming out this week that partnered with the Flanders Classics. And that's great to see as somebody who gets to put words to action to the cyclocross as well as a number of the classics. Great to see the riders in action. Really looking forward to seeing how our riders get on today. Well, one man who is assured of some classic accessories, if not some great mascots. The duck is here, but appropriately for Bhutan, Cosimo Mangino is on our screens, complete with Dragon at the side as well. Great to see Cosimo. He's going to have his work cut out today, I'm sure, like all of our riders. It's not as cold where Cosimo is in Italy at the moment as it is for our riders who are already well into this descent. You can see the groups already splitting here, and Cosimo really having to keep an eye on that descent, check in as he comes in into this right-hand turn. He's in the right place in that leading group, and you can see at the moment that leading group of about 30 riders have already distanced 2 smaller groups off the back. They drop down, it plateaus here a little bit as we take the left-hand turn at the roundabout here, taking the left-hand, that first exit, and you can see the focus on Daniel Dotto's face. Daniel from Brazil looking very, very focused indeed as they come down this descent. Very quick to separate riders out. If you're not in the draft, you're going to be paying the price. Daniel doing a great job, though. Currently sitting in 7th wheel, and you can see behind already there's plenty of riders in trouble, not in position at the moment as they make their way down this descent. Daniel with the race numbers pinned up behind the back of the bike, but taking on board fluids already. That's going to be really critical today because when the racing gets very, very tough on those climbs, it's always more difficult to drink. It's always more difficult to process fueling, and that's where the riders need to make sure they take advantage on the way in. If you wait until you dehydrate, until you're thirsty, it's too late. So the leading group of Category 6 on the way down this descent. Level Titanium, as I said, with the leading team last time with Emil Ivanov, Efrem Mamba, Ingmar van Beers, Joseph van Beers, and Ibrahim leading them through last time. Level Titanium squad, a very similar look, but they have got super sprinter Ola Warren on board the squad as well this time around, and that's going to definitely have the potential to change things up. Some very strong riders in this group, though. You can see Wojciech Sebsa nicely tucked in, and this is a big pack at the moment. Warren is in here, and as you can see, this is going to be at least 40, 45 riders strong, just looking to see where the end of that group is in this pack, but still a good-sized field. Remember, when they set off from the pens, we had a big group of riders, 79 riders on the start list. The riders, though, here in Category 6, setting off 10 minutes before Category 5. But these riders very much into their pace quickly and now heading along. The first climb kicks off at 4.4K, and you can see how fast this is. We're 3 minutes, 50 seconds into the racing. We're at 3 kilometers plus covered already. Then whilst category 2, 3, 4, as well as 5 away. Category 1, a number of riders still already getting into those pens early. They've got quite a while to wait before they go. You can just see Category 6 are really motoring on their way through. So remember, we've still got just over 5 minutes until Category 5 go. We've got just over 10 minutes before Category 4 go, and so on the way through. The next 10-minute gap is actually between Category 3 and Category 2, and the group space just to ensure that we get the right spacing of the riders out on the course as they make the way in through. Don't forget, of course, all the results on MyWhoosh.com/results. You can also pick up all of the race results on MyWhooshinfo.com, as well as lots of stats and details on the racing and of the courses as well. Make sure you download the app on iOS, on Android, or on Windows. Make sure you get the latest update with some great features in there as well. Our riders out on course, about to hit the climb. You can see on the top right-hand side of your screen that red line that indicates the profile of the course coming from right to left on the screen. And the rider's position with the yellow vertical bar. We're just coming into the climb. The percentage of the gradient is about to start ramping up. And at the moment, we've got a slight headwind as indicated by the arrow in the red circle. So at the moment, just coming from the rider's left-hand side. The most shelter is on the right-hand side, but we're already kicking on to this climb at 4%, now heading for 5% already. You can see Ati Yarvin, one of our riders, already now going into zone 6. Z1 is the easiest zone. That's the riding along, having a chat, taking it very easy indeed. It gets harder and harder until you hit zone 6. Zone 6 is you've got limited time in there before you're going to go pop, and the legs are going to explode. And already we're seeing that from riders at the back of this group as they kick on here. Remember, this climb, it's 5 kilometers long from the base of the ascent to the summit. The summit coming at 9.4 kilometers. And Category 6, they'd shed groups off the back from the race start. At the moment, it looks like Ola Warren, well, he's not going to get the chance to put that sprint into operation for the checkpoint because he's got to get over this climb first with the leading group. And he's distanced here. It's 11 seconds now, 12 seconds to Christophe Fournier, the rider in front of him from France. 19 seconds to the back of the group. Fournier's distanced at the moment by the look of it. As you can see, the gaps really have opened up. Arago in trouble here. So is Stanov. Ramo just holding on to the back of the group. The attrition, well, it's not a gradual attrition. They're on to the slopes. They're at 4.8k in at the moment. The climb started at 4.4. 400 meters of damage has been done to this 5k climb, and already there are riders being shed off the back of the group. Arago really kicking on here, looking to get back into the group. We're in with Johnson Kutab at the moment, trying to keep that heart rate manageable. If you go too far in the red zone, you're going to blow, then you're going to be in real trouble. As you can see at the moment, though, we're watching Ramo work his way up onto the wheels here, looking to move his way up through this group. It's still a big group of riders. We've still got 30-plus riders in contention. Dotto nicely tucked into this group, the front of the group, led by Milano, Navarro, Gibson, Van Beers. Van Beers, of course, on that winning team last week. Milano looking to move right the way up to the front and continue pushing here. You can just see as they come around this left-hand turn, the gradient just straightening out, but they're going to go kicking in. They've gone round that right-hand hairpin into the left, but this road continues 3%, a little bit of respite before the next kick, but we're going to turn right. We're going to get even more of a tailwind, and it's going to get quick here. So the pace will pick up. The riders will feel that slight advantage of getting that tailwind through the pedals. Each of these riders in their pain cave riding on the bike. The bike connected to a turbo trainer or using a smart trainer, and that measures the power that the riders are putting out. That power is depicted by the green number or black number in the center top of your screen with the lightning bolt at the moment. Ati Yarvin nicely in this group, kicking out 400 plus watts at the moment in this group. He's got the pain cave lights on blue at the moment. It is blue cold in Bhutan. The pace is red hot though, and Yarvin really pushing on here, just dropping out of the wind. Out of the draft, so into the wind there. You saw his numbers go from green into black, and that means Now, when that happens, the riders come out of the draft and into the wind, and that will add extra resistance to that turbo trainer, to the pedals, making it harder to ride. The rider's weight, the rider's height, calculating that together, along with the aerodynamic resistance, the gradient, the power that they're putting in, that all results in the rider's speed in the bunch. Category 6 on the way up the climb. For the first time, Category 5 waiting down in the pens. In the Category 5 race, 11 teams represented here in Category 5 on our 66 rider race field. We've got 6 teams of 5, 4 teams of 4, and 1 team of 3. Our team with 3 riders, the BMC Get Racing squad. The squads, though, very much about the Ride Club Finland team. Last time out, they took the team win, but they took the team win by a very, very close margin indeed. As they get ready to go, we'll see whether Ride Club Finland can use these snowy conditions to their advantage. Out from the pens, the bunch goes. This is the time where you've got to kick down hard. You've got to get into that group. You don't want leaving at the side of the road. Get into the draft. We're not on the climb for a while yet. 4.4k to go before we hit that climb. This section, though, very quickly about getting into that draft, hiding out of the wind. You can see a rider's heart rate's already high. Julio Rega's heart rate here, 151. Bua Mer, 163. Heart rate is very personal. Some riders will be able to kick at what is 200 plus beats a minute. 164, which is on our screens at the moment. That's the highest I've hit for 2 weeks. I was on a ride earlier on, taking advantage of the fact that we've got a little bit of a change of daylight and change of hours with the Sunday race club to get a little bit of riding. Hit 164 for me. That's pretty much heading towards my maximum. But for some of these riders, it's not even approaching where they can hold for a while. So that heart rate, very, very individual. Buamer at the moment, 164, though, kicking on hard here. But nicely tucked in that zone too as they drop down into this descent. 1 or 2 riders at the back still fighting to get into the wheels. 1 or 2 riders dropped off, and this descent made quicker by that tailwind. As you can see, 12.5 kilometers an hour tailwind at the moment as they come around this turn. 1 or 2 riders just stretching their legs off the front here and pushing on, making the most of this downhill. Not going to break clear, I think, on this course. It's not a course for breakaways, a course for climbers. As we come taking this left-hand turn, in with Rodolphe Bertrand, the Canadian rider. Good to see the level racing rider in here. Bertrand, one of our regular riders on the Sunday Race Club, looks like he's nicely tucked into this group at the moment. Not been distanced at this early stage, which is what we would expect from the rider from Canada, from the level squad. He rode for the level Raiders last time out on the finals in January, where the squad took 5th place. We're going to see if the level Raiders can improve on that this time around. The Category 5 riders, nearly 2k covered. The Category 6 riders, they're at 6.5 kilometers, so still on that big ascent. Remember, they're going to be climbing until the 9.4 kilometer mark. So Category 6 off first. Currently the furthest down the road on that big climb, the first ascent of Dragon's Fury climb here in Bhutan. On the outer loop course, 2 laps. The loop, each of our loops are 22.75 kilometers long. Total elevation today, 1,018 meters in total. A lot of that elevation coming in our climb checkpoints on our climbs. The 3 key climbs, Dragon's Fury climb twice, and the Trisonga Crescent climb that we do just the once. Still plenty of time for the riders in categories 3, 2, and 1 to get into their warm-up to be ready for this fast start here in Bhutan. Category 6, well, if they're not warm now, they're never going to be. Xavier Maillard nicely tucked in the leading group, and you can see on the top right-hand side of your screen where every rider is represented by a purple disc, that it's a long train of riders that are being left behind Xavier Maillard here in that MyWhoosh jersey as part of those goodie bags that were sent out to our riders. Xavier Maillard riding in both the 2023 and 2025 MyWhoosh Championship, the 7-stage stage race that takes place on MyWhoosh. Hopefully, be back this coming year. I know a lot of riders got their fingers crossed. Some great feedback from that, and lots of riders saying their favourite single event of the year on cycling esports. Now, let's move across to our category 4 race field, who are going to be our next set of riders to leave the pens. Category 4, we've got another huge field of 85 riders this time around. We've got 14 teams represented here today. They've got the most teams of any of the race categories here today. You can see them coming up on your screen. Last time around, it was Cycling District 4A who took the win. They're back once again. They've still got 4 riders in that squad. And this time around, Cycling District 4A represented by Almeida, Philo, Canossa, and Mukhtari. Lorem Ipsum took second place in the January finals, and the Lorem Ipsum squad are back once again with Oviedo, Lepero, Angarita, Morte, and Rocchetti. Pedal Club took the 3rd spot on that podium when we came to our finals last time around. The Pedal Club not represented this time around in, sorry, they are represented in category 4. It's Schultz, Termerton, Kochikov, and Giuliano. So many teams, got to find them on our star sheets. Our riders up and away. Daniel Largo, the rider we're in with at the moment as we leave the pairs, heading out onto race route already. One rider just a little late out of that start line. Will need to move quickly to get into the group. Remember, of course, a bunch always moves faster when you're out onto the course and you're out and riding. You can take turns at being in the front. And, of course, it has there's a pushing effect of those riders behind you as well. The more mass there is behind you, the more that is pushed forwards as well. It's not just about who's breaking through that area at the very front and who's hiding from that behind. There is a literal pushing effect from the back of the group as well in terms of aerodynamics when you're out on the road. That's why once upon a time you'd see the team car in a time trial right up behind the rider with 15, 20 bikes jammed onto the roof to put a big wall of air in front of it to push the riders along. Not allowed to do that anymore in the time trials out on the road races. So if you're watching the UAE tour that's been taking place this week, the last 7 stages, then you'll have seen that fantastic time trial out around Hudaria Island. The cars sat further back and only having a limited number of bikes on top to service that particular rider. An amazing job done by the organisers of the UAE tour. It's come to its conclusion today, sprinting into the Abu Dhabi breakwater. It's the conclusion of the Sunday Race Club for February. It's our finals of Mohamed Mukhtari on our screens at the moment. What can Mohamed Mukhtari do for that Cycling District 4A squad? He was part of the winning team in January, and this is a tough course today, but we know when the going gets tough, Mohamed Mukhtari gets going. And at the moment, he's in the right place. He's in the leading group. He's holding position nicely at the moment in that pack, sitting about 20 riders down from the front of the group. But that's only about 20 meters or so because the riders are really packed into this group in Category 4. Category 4 are last riders away from the pen so far. They're approaching 2 kilometers. 8.8k. Daniel Dotto now pushes hard on those pedals, looking to open up a bit of a gap here. He's looking for the 9.4 kilometer marker here. So Dotto opening up the gap. He has distance to do. He's got this left-hand turn, a right-hand hairpin, and then another left turn to get to the checkpoint. But at the moment, Dotto really setting out his stall here. You can see the work being done on his face on the left-hand side, riding in person in the pain cave on the camera on the left-hand side of your screen. The avatar out of their saddle here, stamping on those pedals. In the virtual world, Dotto at 6.1 watts per kilo. He's putting down 450 watts at the moment, plus heading up to nearly 500. He goes over the 500 marker. He knows this is his chance. He's got 12 seconds on Visna, and at the moment, the distance is ticking away. Less than 300 meters to go. The gap he's opened up is phenomenal at the moment, and now this is going to be a calculation for Dotto. How much harder does he need to go between here and that checkpoint? Because you're not going to solo this to the finish. It's going to take something phenomenal if you think you're going to be able to do that. But what you can do is make everybody else work by sitting just in front at the moment. Dotto starts to ease off. You can see that he knows that banner is coming. This is the first polka dot archway of the race today here in the finals. On the men's February finals here, he's out of the saddle, and this kick over the line sees Dotto come through in first position. He pulls on that polka dot skin suit. Well, what a ride by him coming up over the line. First place here at the moment. He's taken away the 5 points here as we take a look now down at the start line. Our next set of riders getting ready to go. This is going to be our Category 3 riders. The Category 3 race field here today. Another big race field, as always, on the Sunday race club. 67 riders taking to our race start here. Last time in our finals, it was Bleu Blanc Rouge, the French squad, with the blue, white, and red of Fournier, Havot, Gates, Fell, and Boulanger, the riders who came over the line with the fastest team time, 4 hours and 4 minutes and 28 seconds for them. Only a second behind them came to take that squad in second place, and then the Black Horses came in third place. 12 teams here today are represented by the riders, including the Sandstorm here, squad here today. Part of the very, very close races. We've seen the Sandstorm really challenging before. We'll see whether they can be right up there this time round. The defending winners from January, Bleu Blanc Rouge, heading out on to the. We'll see whether or not they have got the power to be there. Got to remember, though, for me, here in Category 3, I think this is going to be very much about who can keep the power down, how much strength you've got in depth. Looking for our big climbers to come to the fore here today. Black Horses, it could well be their day. Now, with Buchta, Buchwecki, Kalman, Sledek, and Kierski taking their positions in the team last time out. This time out, Black Horses represented by Bendetti, Kierski, Kalman, and Buchta. So very much riders to watch when it comes to this race route. And certainly seen Bendetti in this leading group as we come down into the descent here. One big group, one big pack on this 8% gradient on the descent. 80 plus kilometers an hour, the speed that our riders already achieving on the descent. So Category 6, the first up and away. Category 5 going second, then Category 4. Category 3 just having left the pens at the moment. They're out on the race route. They've covered 1.4K already. Category 4, they're on to the ascent. We're going to see who is going to come up to the top of the climb. We'll just give you a quick heads up on the Category 6 riders who came through at the front of the race. Daniel Dotto, we saw just taking the win in those purple jerseys for Category 6 at the top of that climb, taking that climb checkpoint. He takes 5 points in the climb competition. Diego Navarro took second place and 4 points. Marek Visner taking third place and 3 points. David Milano taking fourth place and 2 points. And Ibrahim coming through, taking away the fifth place and taking away 1 point as they went over the top of the climb. Already 41 riders in Category 6 having gone over the top of that climb at the moment. That's the Dragon's Fury climb on lap number 1. Category 6 having made their way up and over. Category 4, well, they're just onto the slopes. They are passing 1 or 2 of the riders in Category 5 that have been distanced from the lead group. The riders can draft each other if you're out on the course. So if you get passed by a group of another riders, or whether they're in your category or not, you can take advantage of the draft. You can jump on board if you have the speed and pace and try and profit from that draft. And when a big bunch comes past, it certainly does speed things up. Category 4 on the left-hand side of your screen on the climb. Category 3, right-hand side of your screen at the moment. Gonda and Natari at the front of the Category 3 race, along with Kelly Harris. The riders are just trying to push the pace up here, just really drive into that climb. It's a slight fractional downhill, 0.1% descent, so just downhill for the riders, but they've got a tailwind at the moment at the 3 kilometer marker. And that tailwind, that slight tailwind, is going to be following them pretty much around this turn. It's not going to go too much of a headwind until we hit the base of the climb. But then at 4.4k, you got a nasty start to the climb. It's a slight headwind going into the first part of the climb. The category 4 riders in the red on the left-hand side of your screen are then going on into a much more of a headwind. You can just see it coming more in front of the riders as they make their way up. You can just see coming into this right-hand turn, this leading group of riders have got a long chain of riders behind. Link after link joined to that long chain, but we're starting to see some of those links fracture and gaps start to open up between the riders. A little bit of air in between, a little bit of a gap, and it's only going to be accentuated. We've just seen Oviedo now starting to stretch his legs on the front of this group, and you can see the damage as we take this fantastic look back down to the lake in the background. Well, the riders in the background that at the moment are silhouetted against the lake, and those riders being distanced off the back. You can see the ascent. You can see how steep this is, 8% at the moment. As we kick up here, and Oviedo really using this to his advantage. He's opened up a gap. It's 2 seconds. It looks nothing between him and the group behind, but you can see he's really pushing here into zone 6. Just drops to zone 5 a little bit here, but he's done some serious damage at the back of that group. I think we're going to see potentially another 6-7 rider shed by the effort here of Oviedo, so he's whittling down the numbers. He's chipping off little piece by little piece, rider after rider, off the back of that group. And the more that he can do this, the more we're going to see those riders going out of contention for the checkpoints, for the climb competition, for the sprint competition, and of course for that overall race. And it helps, of course, in that team competition. The more you can lose riders from other teams, the better. What you don't want to do, though, is accelerate and put your own teammates in trouble. Oviedo at the moment in category 4, looking to stretch the legs of the rest of the riders. Giuliano comes onto his wheels. So does Villada. Angarita is in here. So is Ivanov. Schultz in the mix as they come around this right-hand turn at the moment. Brilliant to see the riders on the race route. Don't forget, of course, if you're watching, if you're on YouTube and watching, don't forget you can get in touch live on the YouTube channel. Do try to monitor that all the way through when we're doing both the men's and women's show. It's a little easier with 2 of us in the commentary box for each race, but we'll be keeping an eye on that as well. So thank you for the comments on there already. I'd love to know who V1D300 is, but whoever you are, thank you very much. I do agree. The graphics and production quality is fantastic. It's amazing to see. You can see the riders at the moment spread out and around the race route. The fantastic MyWhoosh platform to use to race on. Remember, no fees, no fuss, just race. You can jump on board, download the app on iOS, on Android, on Windows. Jump on board if you want to race in the events. Don't forget, of course, the Cycling Esports League is back on Tuesday. 6 more races every Tuesday coming up. You don't need quite as much stringent controls to jump through, so you don't need to have the dual record. You do need to have a heart rate monitor and a smart turbo, so do make sure that you check out the rules on the MyWhoosh info pages. Scratch race to kick off the action. It's going to be followed. There's points races, and at the moment still a surprise final race route as well in that last race of the series. Some fantastic races on there. Some great events as well. The MyWhoosh Community Tour just finishing as we dive in with Niall Batty. Niall at the moment in what is a very dark United Kingdom at the moment. The pain cave there, lit up only by the screen for Niall Batty, one of the real big climbers. We've seen him take victories in the MyWhoosh Championships before. On Mount Fuji. He's a rider who we know will be suited to each and every one of these climbs on the way up, and he'll be particularly looking forward to those 18% slopes. As we go on to our final climb of the day, that's the Trongsa Crescent climb. At the moment, though, Batty now going into the lead. He's joined Rodrigo Coimbra at the front of this race behind Kierski. Kierski, the rider who is chasing 3 seconds. So is Yazbek and Montoya. Whilst maybe not having that same climbing speed as the 2 leaders, still looking good at the moment as they make their way up this race route. in our riders racing it out in that category 3. Category 3 at the moment at what is nearly 6% covered. We're going to move across to category 2, our penultimate race category. Some phenomenal riders in category 2 as always. 69 riders. 69 riders on our race field today in category 2. There are 12 teams of our 68 teams here in the men's race. It is 12 of them are in category 2 alone. Now, last month, the Hitmen hit the #1 spot. They had that golden disc at the top with Tattoo Coyston and Stuart Miller, Ross Forster and Phil Graves taking away the win from the Vuelta Panda squad. And last time out, those two teams were separated by 0.5 of a second. Now, that is the second smallest men's race gap between teams in 2026. And in fact, in 2025, the record was 0.72 of a second between the Goats and Riders of the Storm. So the Hitmen and Vuelta Panda separated by half a second last time out. It's not the smallest gap. That was actually from the category 4 men between Cycling District and the Lorem Ipsum squad of 0.3 of a second. Not the closest race finish between teams. That's actually in the women's race in January. That was 0.176 of a second in category 3, the Riot 3 squad versus the Fem Cycle Club pedal pushers. And it shows you, even when those 3 fastest riders' times are added together, that's how close the racing is in all of our race categories. The Hitmen always up for a battle. They're always looking to make it hard from the gun. We go out of the pens though with Mr. X100, one of our riders who we have seen hitting the highlights time and time again. And one of the reasons for that is because he is one of those riders that we know is going to be up and racing regularly. He has, in fact, hit the 200 mark last week. He took his 200th ride on the Sunday Race Club. He's in second position at the moment in the overall rise. So this is his 201st ride in the Sunday Race Club. Mr. X100, one of our real early protagonists. Phil Graves is leading the way at the moment with 216. This will be his 217th ride. With Michael Knudsen currently in third place on 193 participations in the Sunday Race Club. So out from the Pens category 2, very quickly up to speed as you would expect from our penultimate race field, heading out on to the race route. Real pro level stuff at this level. Some really, really phenomenal performances come time and time again from our riders in category 2. Now, as we go along today, you're going to hear some stats for some of the other categories as well, just giving you a heads up. And that's quite simply because we've got 6 categories on the road at the same time. We saw category 5 going up over the top of the climb. Category 6 going over the top of the climb. Category 5 had just gone over, and the point scorers on the first climb, Alvarez taking 5 points, Gremsel taking 4, Young taking 3, Zimiel taking 2, and Womack taking 1 point as they went over the top of the climb. Big group there, 39 riders over the summit together as they went over the top in category 5. That's over the top of our first climb. 3 major climbs today out on race route. We're dropping down in towards the run into the first climb with category 2. Then 2 minutes and 45 seconds of riding so far, of racing. They've covered nearly 2.5 kilometers of race route as they come in. In fact, 2.5K in 2 minutes 50. So absolutely flying along in category 2 before we even get to that first climb, where category 6 and category 5 have gone over the top. The first points being scored at the top of the climbs with 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1 points, respectively, for the riders going over in first, second, third, fourth, and fifth places. So category 2 at the moment, well underway, just in with SS on the right-hand side of your screen. Another of our real regular riders from the United Arab Emirates on the way in towards that climb. Category 1 waiting patiently in the pens, the longest. They have the last of our race starts of our 6 race categories. Remember, prizes across all of our 6 categories. 8 teams here today, 7 teams of 4 and 1 team of 3. Our team of 3, the Whoosh boys, Gadazi, Gednis and Vanhi. Our teams of 4 riders, it's a real mix of riders in here. Now, we've got the Wenger boys in here, Paradians, Kroll, Milostic and Padica. We've got the Team Scandi Racing, who've been on blistering of form. Andreasen, Degen, Pedersen and Dont. Pedersen taking a first, second and third place so far. The Wenger boys, best rider, Paradians, with the 4th place in terms of top 5s. Team of Balbina have 4 riders, David Nitko, along with Masik Mendekowicz, Marcin Trzezinski and Peter Milostic for the Balbina squad. The squad of Alpha Joe, they've got Ollie Jones with a win, 2nd, 3rd and 5th place for line over Justin. Also got Mikhail Kaminsky and Daniel Chirac in there. The Boss Moves Only squad, you've got Jason Osborne with a 5th place, a 2nd and a 4th for Michael Nussen, a 5th place for Michael Fink, and Say Safrazodi with a 3rd. The Farm Watch squad, no top 5 for them, but Noran Planter, a Confession and Zachner can never be discounted. But the team who took the win last time out, the team from Abus, are back once again, represented by Cal Power, Leonard Hugels and Stefan Van Elst. They're going to be led away from the line by Pavel Skierski, who's taken a win and a 4th place already at this time out. Who is going to take away the win here today? In Category 1, our riders are out onto race route, 55.5 kilometres. Distance to cover. The world champion Jason Osborne leading the racing out here. Racing for the Boss Moves Only squad. Very quickly closed down. Nobody's going to let Osborne get any ground at this stage. As this race field heads out, 41 riders down on our start list here today. It is absolutely packed with riders. Last time out, Abus took the win from the team from Boss Moves Only. Boss Moves Only coming in just under 5 seconds behind the winning team, with 3rd place going to the Team Scandi Racing. He's going to be racing at 15 seconds. Alpha Joe squad were 4th, Wenger boys in 5th, Farm Watch squad in 6th, the Whoosh boys in 7th, and a Z5 squad, Zone 5 squad in Category 1, taking away the last spot in our finals last time around. So our riders all out on the course across all 6 race categories here today in Bhutan on what is a brutal course. And let's give you a quick reminder of exactly what faces all of our riders, all 6 categories covering the same race route. It's 2 laps essentially to kick off with of our 22.75k loop, and that starts at sea level. We dip down as we've seen our riders descend down into the first of our climbs, and that is a Dragon's Fury climb that categories 6 and category 5 have gone over the top of so far, with category 4 and 3 now going over the top of that climb. They drop down through the trunks of sprint, the first of 2 sprints here today. They then ascend back to sea level, drop back down the descent and go into the Dragon's Fury for the 2nd ascent. The Dragon's Fury climb for the 2nd ascent. Nobody yet reached that point so far. From there, it's dropping back down into the 2nd of our sprints, so a real case of deja vu for the riders as they go down in through. And you can see as they drop in there that there's a lot of red in there. That indicates the headwind. The colours directly below the course profile indicating the colours are basically red for a headwind. You've got a tailwind in green. You can see that on the key on the top right-hand side and to the left-hand side. Maximum wind speed, 14.5 kilometres an hour. All of this, though, is a precursor for the final slopes of the day, maxing out at 18% on the climb, an average gradient of 6.1%. The final climb checkpoint comes at 55.1k, and that is 400 meters before the finish. So making sure that you are in the lead group as you hit that final climb will be key. Whilst you may think you can do a Del Toro on a climb and go from being out of position going up, which we saw on the UAE Tour earlier on. Congratulations to Isaac Del Toro. on what has been a fantastic week for him. Gotta say, brilliant running by him, but don't think you can do it Del Toro. He's something super, super, super special to come from. He, at one stage, was 30 seconds down on one of our stages and worked his way right up through the group. Really interesting climb, that as well. Well worth a watch back if you are out there. The Jebel Mobra, a new climb on the UAE Tour, stage 3, coming immediately after the time trial. And Del Toro, though out of position, got himself right the way back up. Real cautious start by him on the climb, but it paid off. But that tactic's not necessarily going to work here today. We've got such a superstar field here today in all of our 6 categories, and the racing is super close across them. Our runners really want to be in here. We've already seen some of our sprinters here today being distanced out the back of the leading group. This is all about making sure that you get yourself up to the top of the climb in first position each and every time, pretty much, if you want those checkpoint prizes as you go up over the top. The riders in category 2 currently at 6.1 K into this race route. Let's just run you through the results for our category 4 and our category 3 riders just at the top of the Dragon's Fury climb for the first time. In terms of category 4 riders, it was Coimbra who went over the top, with Guarin in second place, Paradise in third, Batty in fourth, and Yazbek in fifth, scoring 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1 points respectively. In the category 3 race. In the category 4 race, it was Osario from Turmerton, from Oviedo, Rusty Mackie and Chicor scoring the 5 points through to 1 point respectively at the top of that climb. Still big groups in most of the race fields at the top of the first climb. Not super split from what we can see on the timing screens, as we see Karol Sladek at the moment looking to open up a little bit of distance here at the moment. So at the moment, just keeping an eye on these riders as we make their way out on a race route. We're just taking a look to the left-hand side onto our big screen now. Category 1 up on to the climb here, nicely taking this right-hand turn at the 4.6 kilometer marker. At the moment, looks to me like this group with 200 meters of the climb underneath their wheels, so not yet shedding too many riders. There's a little bit of a gap at the back of this group as we see the push coming, but we still got sprinters in there like Molostic. Jones nicely tucked in here. Then we get Jones, of course, with a fantastic finish, but also a really strong rider overall. He can put in that effort. He can do a good time trial effort. He can keep that consistent power down, but he's also got that kick that you need when these gradients keep changing. It's just gone from 6% to 10% as we come around that turn. So at the moment, the riders making their way up the climb. Nicely keeping that rhythm tucked out there. Ollie Jones on your screens in person on the left-hand side of your screen here. And you can just see just really tapping out the rhythm, just making sure that he keeps that pace nice and high as we dive in with Jeanade, Maxence Jeanade, the rider from France, currently tucked in with this group. Looks like just going to jump across toward Alan Young. He's nicely in here as well. 270 watts going up to 300. Currently at the moment on one of the slightly easier sections. At the moment, the rider's just coming around this right turn, and a little bit of descent just in here as we come around the turn into the left here. Very quickly increasing in grade. Every time it eases like that, that really, really makes life difficult, because you sit in a rhythm and you're pushing a consistent power through those pedals. And every time you push on those pedals, if it's a consistent gradient, you really get into a rhythm, you know how hard you're going. Every time that it changes, the gradient changes and it eases off, you're then pushing just as hard. The bike sort of jumps forward. You feel it moving, and you can feel that change in resistance through the pedals when you're on the turbo or you're on the smart trainer as the course is translated in through the turbo. You can see our riders at the moment on our screens. Toward Alan Young, left-hand side of your screen, Ollie Simmons, second from the left, Jakob Björklund. Third from left in the legend that is Rick van Urk on the right-hand side of our screens. It is Rick van Urk, of course, that we have gone to our riders on a climb. Good to see you all here today, all four of you. Rick, of course, notorious for being the rider that we always feature on our screens when it goes uphill. We have actually broken that for a little bit before. Rick on some great form at the moment. Definitely one to watch here today, particularly if it goes to a sprint at the end. He's in the right place here, nicely tucked into the group. Just seen Todd Allen Young looking good at the moment as well. Just seen him unzip that jersey just coming into this little kicker. You can see the gradient's going to increase very shortly, and it's really going to get tough at the moment. This leading group, Van Urk in here, seeing him just up a little bit further up the road from Alan Young. Bjorkland is tucked into this group. Simmons is there as well. It's a real who's who of Category 2. The front of this race as they keep on pushing here up the climb. The left-hand hairpin turn comes here. We're not too far from the summit. Remember, the checkpoint comes at 9.4K. Are we going to see a sprint from these riders to take that checkpoint? We saw an attack come at not far off this point of the 8.8K mark as the gradient got steeper from a number of riders in other categories to go for the checkpoint prize. At the moment, that race is flat out in Category 2. They've got a little way to the summit, to that checkpoint, as we dive in with the first riders and the last riders to leave the pens. The first riders away. Category 6 on the right-hand side of your screen. In purple, left-hand side of your screen. The last riders to leave the pen. Category 1, and the group that was together, it's not anymore. They've shed at least 4, if not 5 riders from the leading group. The pace being kept high on the front of Category 1. Category 2 nicely, Category 6 nicely onto the second of our climbs, the Dragon's Fury climb. Meanwhile, the front of Category 2, right-hand hairpin turn is about to be done here. And when they do that, they're going to be coming into the left-hand turn at the moment. SS leading this group out, coming around that left-hand turn at the moment. Carol Sladek up there as well by the look of it. But we're in with SS, who's got a gap here. He's really opened up the gap on theme on Christina. And the rest of the bunch are behind. SS goes over the top here. Now, SS has got a real kick. That climb really suited him. He's great when the road goes steep, shallow, steep, shallow, steep, shallow. If you put him on a long climb, a long gradual gradient, you've got to say, in the UAE clan team, I would put my money on SS. He's going to sit there and push out that big power. And he really works well on that type of climb. On this type of climb, with these changing gradients, you can see Category 1 at the moment at 1.5% here. This changing gradient, it suits a rider like SS who can put the power down, then take it off the power, just take a little bit of a breather. At the moment, SS going over the top. He's got the gap at the moment back behind him. Janade, along with Theme. At the moment, the chasing group at 21 seconds on our race leader, SS, who's got that polka dot skin suit, pulling that on because he is the first rider over the top and underneath the checkpoint in Category 2. Category 2 at the moment at 10.2 kilometers covered. Well, the leader is. The lead of Category 1, it's in the group on the left-hand side of your screen at the moment. Jones, with the rider we're in with, putting out 300 plus watts, having to modulate the power, really high revs here. You can see he's at 90 plus revs per minute. So around that left-hand turn, they go. This is your leading group behind. We've got a number of riders being a distance. This is going to be a push as they come off the right-hand turn. You've got a couple of hairpins still to go, though, on the way up here. This group not breaking, really, really strong. Move by the group on the front here, and they're holding together. One or two riders just can't keep this pace, and once you're distanced, these riders, remember, are traveling at 32 kilometers an hour. Now, for an average rider, 32 kilometers an hour on the flat is enough speed. That is some serious speed. It's 20 miles an hour, basically. These riders are world class. Remember, they don't have to worry about taking the bends. They don't have to brake for anything. It's just about getting that power down, responding to the gradient, to the moves by the rest of the riders, moving to the left and right hand side of the road to get into that draft, to maximize the draft advantage if you're behind other riders. These are the world's best cycling esports riders to hear each and every week on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club, coming to you from MyWhoosh. Remember, the platform free, no subscription to jump on board and to ride on MyWhoosh, of course, the UCI partner for cycling esports, and of course holding those fantastic world championships in Abu Dhabi. Lionel Vujassin, one of our most experienced cycling esports riders, who I've had the pleasure of watching for too many years, and I hope they continue for many more. Really, really strong rider for the Belgian squad. He was there at those world championships as well. As we just see this kick here, Vujassin kicking on at the moment. Dan Churek in the mix here. Vink in the lead at the moment. Michael Vink, former rider who we would expect to take something like a lead as they go over the top here. He's up against some of the real on-form riders. Vink coming back into form a little bit more as we go into 2026. So coming up to the summit at the moment, 8% gradient. You can see the profile of the course coming from the right hand side, that red line coming across to meet that yellow vertical line. It's still steep around this right hand hairpin turn. It continues as we go up this straighter section. It's a slight left and a straight section, and then we do another left turn. At the moment, Osborne, the world champion, moving to the fore here, looking to stretch things out here. He's starting to wind this up. He's looking to open up the gap. He's at 12.5 watts per kilo. But he's kicked on hard here. He wants to take away the checkpoint as he gets there. He's opened the gap on everybody else. And is this the sort of move that's going to open up a substantial gap behind Paul Skierski, the rider who has got the KOM up this mountain? 10 minutes and 38 seconds. His KOM time up there. Well, Osborne's just rocketed up. Skierski's checking out of the course. I think he said that KOM, if I remember correctly, on the 20th of February, he was out on the course, checking out this course for this final. He's beaten by Jason Osborne, who takes away the checkpoint prize in category 1. 15 minutes and 29 seconds up that climb that time around. SS comes through to take away the checkpoint prize in category 2. Coimbra in 3, Osario in 4, Alvarez in 5, and Dotto in category 6. You can see those times up to the top of that checkpoint, varying from that race up 15 minutes 29 to 18 minutes 59. And don't forget, you can find all of the KOMs of the courses of the climbs on mywhooshinfo.com. Absolutely massive resource used by all the commentary teams, the Arabic team, as well as myself and Emma on the English language team here, bringing you all of the action. But in words to the action, brought to you by the amazing team behind the scenes, covering all 6 race categories in the women's and men's race. The women's race starting 1 hour earlier than the men's this time around. So the women's race kicking off. The category 6 riders setting off at 7:25 Gulf Standard Time. So that is the equivalent of 16:25 CET if you're in Europe. The category 1 women setting off at 8 o'clock at Gulf Standard Time. The category 6 men setting off at 8:25, and the category 1 men setting off at 9 o'clock at Gulf Standard Time. So both races in progress pretty much at the same time for a lot of the duration of the racing, hence why you got myself, Matt Payne, here on the men's race as we watch category 2 on their descent down off the mountain this time around. And you've got Emma Martin on the women's coverage. And that's going to be for this week and the 3 following weeks for the duration of Ramadan, because it means that we can ensure that the majority of those riders who are fasting are able to get past that fasting time and then refuel correctly to be out and racing, just watching out for those riders' welfare. Category 2. making the way down the descent. Category 1, a lot further up the slopes on the way down. Ricardo Panizza, the rider that we're in with in terms of avatar form, also here in person, second from the right-hand side of our screens as they come down. Don't worry, Rick Van Uyck hasn't transposed himself into Stefan Van Elst, although they do look very similar. Ricardo Panizza and Ollie Jones there, and Mikhail Kaminsky. But Panizza, the rider that we're focused on here from Italy on the descent down here, 1.5 watts per kilo. Interestingly, though, because it's only a slightly gradual gradient here, it's 5%. A lot of these riders choosing to keep pedaling, and whilst you can recover using a super tuck, we just seen 1 or 2 riders doing so. Using the, if you stop pedaling and your cadence registers as 0, then your rider will go into the super tuck. It'll duck down low, be super aero, and be able to stay in there. A lot of the riders choosing to turn the legs over, because the problem is when you stop riding and you stop turning the pedals over, whilst your avatar might take a super tuck position, all you're doing is keeping your legs still, and that's not great when you have to get them going again. It's not like we haven't got plenty of climbs still to come for category 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6 for that matter. All of our categories over the Dragon's Fury climb for the first time. The Dragon's Fury climb for the second time, or that summit coming at some 32.2 kilometers into our race route. Our furthest riders on race route at the moment are category 6 in that purple jersey. And at the moment, category 6 just approaching 30 kilometers of distance covered. So they're on that climb for the second time. And the rest of the riders doing the transfer across. Meanwhile, you can see the sprint is on here. 17.9k. The first of our sprint checkpoints is coming up. It's a green archway going over the road. And at the moment, Mikhail Utkin and Phil Graves are on the move. Utkin leading out in the black helmet. Graves holding on the wheels here in the yellow helmet. The bunch behind. Well, there are 8 watts per kilo as well. Gillo and Fawcett at the front of that. But they're not going to pull these two back. The question is going to be, who's going to take the checkpoint prize? They go across the roundabout. It's straight on here. They need to get that power down. Utkin's still holding off Graves. Graves kicks harder, but can he come through? He can't take it. It's going to go to Mikhail Utkin. So the Trunks sprint in category 2, the first of the 2 passages through the sprint, done and dusted for category 2. Utkin taking the checkpoint prize from Graves. Then Fawcett, Machado, and SS rounding out the point scorers in category 2. Our riders in category 3, while it was going over the Trunks of Sprint, Coimbra showing he's got good sprint legs as well as having climbing legs. Coimbra from Ramirez, from Gomez, Glacek, and Yazbek in category 3. In category 4, it was Chikors from Villada, from Rusimaki, Schultz, and Rimborg taking the points. Eric Rimborg, yes, that same Eric Rimborg that you can go ride with. I think he's going to be doing an evening slot tomorrow on the live coaching, if I remember correctly. So don't forget you can join Eric, Golden Boy himself, out on the training, live training on MyWhoosh, where you can see the coach in action. You can hear them as well, all part of the MyWhoosh pantheon of facets that you can take advantage of for free. Let's go across to our sprint in category 5. Category 5, the sprint taken by Carlos Alvarez, followed by Legetska, Thuft, Savic, and Duda. And category 6, Diego Navarro from Simon Petzel, Vladislav German, Marek Vichner, and David Milano. So those are the category 6 riders who've gone through that Tronso sprint. And you remember category 1, the only category not to go through that sprint. And at the moment, we've got a little bit of a push onwards. So our riders out on course. Don't forget you can enjoy the racing on Arabic as well. You can join Suleiman and Robert on there in the Arabic feed. If you can speak Arabic is your first language, or that's your preferred language. English on the English feed as well, all brought to you by MyWhoosh production team, covering all the races in multiple languages at the same time as well. So doing an amazing job behind the scenes with the knobs and faders leaders, the sliders, and all the buttons that they've got to press, and keep a check on 6 races simultaneously in the men's and 6 races in the women's as well. Now, let's take a run across to the Category 1 riders. Just taking a look at Mikhail Kaminsky on the top left-hand side of your screen. Just getting out the saddle and just putting a little bit more power down through those pedals. So is Riccardo Panizzi. So you can just see that little bit of a pickup here as we go into the headwind required. The chase is on, and they're looking to try and close down that little bit of a gap. Dangerous riders up the road. Michael Knudsen, along with Lionel Vajassin. Michael Knudsen, the 3rd most experienced rider on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club, but also the rider who's got the most podiums of any rider on the Sunday Race Club. 99 times he's had a top 3 on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. He's a very dangerous rider to let go down the road. I know he's also been doing a lot of really hard training on big distances as well. And because of that, he's not going to run out of steam part way. He's definitely a dangerous rider to let go down the road. They're looking to pull him back here. And Knudsen, I think, will be looking for some assistance up there. Knudsen riding up for the Boss Musani squad. That includes Jason Osborne, Michael Fink, and Saeed Safrazedi. Well, Knudsen's got the lead. Is he going to get this checkpoint? This is the first sprint checkpoint coming up. It's a long way. It's the other side of this roundabout that they're about to come to. So he's going to have to go around the roundabout, go around the statue here in the center. So takes the left-hand side here, goes around that roundabout. So he can now see the banner in front of him. He's got the gap on everybody else. He's 8 seconds back to Leonard Jugels. Remember, it's 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1 points to the riders. The green skin suit awarded to the leading rider in the sprints competition in each of our race categories. So Knudsen goes through. Knudsen in 1, Pedersen in 2, Skierski in 3, Power in 4, and Vink in 5. In Category 1, Knudsen leading them through in Category 1, Utkin in Category 2, Coimbra in Category 3, Chikors in Category 4, and Alvarez in Category 5. Navarro is there in Category 6. All these riders reaching that point in less than 30 minutes of racing in each of their race categories. The fastest riders to reach that point, though, the Category 1 riders with Michael Knudsen leading them in and through. So the Dragon's Fury climb either side of the Trunks Sprint 1. So we've got Dragon's Fury climb first ascent done and dusted. We've got the first of our sprints done and dusted as well for all of our race category leaders. We're moving our way across towards the top of the climb, and you can just see Daniel Dotto has repeated what he did on lap number 1 because he has just gone through, I think, the top of the climb. The top of the Dragon's Fury climb at the moment. So we will see how these riders get on out on course here, because Dragon's Fury climb, Dotto taking the second ascent there. He extends his lead at the top of the standings. He goes through ahead of Visner, Milano, Ibrahim, and Truba. So a number of those riders just scoring points on both passages of the climb. You can just see Visner about to make contact with Dotto. 2 riders together at this stage. They've climbed 2 of the 3 ascents here. They've got a 12-second gap, but you've got a big run here. You go over the top. They've covered 33 kilometers. The base of the next climb, the next big climb, 51k into this race route. So 18k to cover. I think I'll be getting as much rest as I could on that downhill descent and not trying to stay clear of the bunch if the bunch wants to chase. I think that's perhaps a mission impossible at this stage. So Category 2 and Category 1, the last 2 sets of riders to leave the pens. Category 2 going out 5 minutes in front of Category 1. Category 2 currently at the 21.9k marker. This is the climb back up to sea level, to the point at which we started our race, because this is going to be 1 full lap done. We do 2 full laps and then we head off to the Trunks Crescent climb. So 2 full laps, then heading off. This is the end of lap 1. I hate to break it to you if you're racing. You've done 1 of 2 laps. You've got exactly the same to follow again, and it's on its way coming at you fast. The speed that our riders are traveling. The Category 2 riders fast approaching that 22.7k mark. We should be where we see the riders go through the point that they set off from. That's on the top of this little plateau in Category 2. Category 1 just about to make the way in towards that. They're at the 20.0 K marker. So although they've got a banging headwind at the moment, keeping that group together, he's still got plenty of ascent still to come. So just taking a little bit of a check in Category 1 of the riders in that, the teams up at the front. Team Abus well represented. They've got more than 3 riders in that leading group. The Farm Watts squad, they have not, just doing a double check, I think they might well have dropped a rider here, so I think they're only going to be on 2. Team Scandi Racing definitely have 3 riders in there. The Alpha Jaw squad looking good. Boss Moves Only squad definitely looking good. All 4 of their riders in for Category 1 in that big mix at the front here. Category 2 completing their first lap, going back out on to lap number 2 here of 2.5 laps of. So coming in to the right-hand turn. So just take a little look on the course profile as we head out on to our second lap of Category 2. So you can see the riders just going through in Category 2, the 22.7k marker. That's a flat plateau, halfway between 20 and 25 kilometers. So that's lap 1 done. Category 1 just on the way into that point. Category 6 already over the top of the Dragon's Fury climb. Number 2, they're the only category who's gone over the top of Dragon's Fury climb number 2. They've got the descent to come, and then they'll be heading in back over this same climb up to complete lap 2, and then dropping down and turning off and going on to the Tronxa Crescent climb. That Crescent climb coming and taking the riders right the way up to the top of the Tronxa Crescent climb at 55.1k, the checkpoint. And as you can see, very much a case that you've got to be in these leading groups. We've seen riders being distance on the way through in the rest of the race categories as they come up. And once they've gone over the Dragon's Fury, we've seen 1 or 2 riders off the front, and we saw that in Category 6. But really, unless you've got a substantial gap, my estimation, you would need at least a minute and a half coming off the summit of the Dragon's Fury to stay clear of that chasing group behind going into Tronxa Crescent climb for most riders. Now, there are 1 or 2 exceptions, Mr. Osborne being potentially one of those, because we know he's really, really strong. Michael Vink, potentially another in Category 1. As the Category 5 riders on our screens at the moment, now starting to work their way through the Category 4 riders here, just going past a big bunch here. Category 5 just in with Boo Amur at the moment, so just nicely working his way up through. Plenty of riders on the race route for him to work his way through. Aaron Schill on the wheels of Rudolph Bertrand at the moment. They're still working the way up this climb. Bertrand at the moment with Schill on his back wheel here. He's at the 31.4k marker. Quick reminder, top of this climb at 32.2. So Rudolph Bertrand still looking pretty cool and composed here as he makes his way up the Dragon's Fury climb number 2. Makes his way past the elephants at the side there, who show their support for the riders on the way up this climb. So Bertrand leading from Schill of this duo of riders. They're on the very front of the Category 5 race, but still well placed, because you can see this Category 5 race really has been blown apart. Our riders scattered all the way around our race route now as these riders make their way up this climb here. You can see the avatar there with the beard to mirror that of Rodolphe Bertrand. So just going to jump in with a few more riders in with Daniel Kuntz at the moment, just working our way up to Arthur Mikulek. As you can see there, the riders at the moment just chasing Mikulek, just chasing that lead group in Category 5. Category 2, just starting to see a little bit of action on the front here. 3 riders with a couple of seconds lead. That's Machado, Mr. X100 and SS. They've got a couple of seconds to Ross Fawcett and Jeffrey Muller. That's right-hand side of your screen in Category 2. Category 1, left-hand side of your screen. They're at the 23-kilometre marker. So they are now well and truly into lap number 2. And they'll hit the next big climb section at 27.2k. Now, in front of the group, that gap just being closed down behind Rick Van Erck, on to the wheels and passing SS. Michel Machado also swallowed up in the group. Mistakes 100 still out in front. It's a pretty select group on the front of this race at the moment as we dive in with Rick once again. Good to see Rick. Yeah, he always has a smile on his face when he's racing, and I hope all of our riders are taking heart from this. It is much more efficient to smile when you're riding than it is to frown or grimace. There's less muscles engaged to smile than there are to have a frown. So if you've got a frown, turn it upside down. Get a smile on there. It's going to make you go quicker. There's going to be more blood going into your legs to make you go faster. There's going to be more oxygen available because you're not using it to pull a sad face, pull a happy one on the way up. And come on, we do this for fun. This is the whole point. It also makes us faster and fitter and stronger, and we have a great fun because the riders are super close in terms of performance level as well. And that's one of the great things with having 6 race categories across all of our riders and all 6 race categories on the screen. It's all part of the MyWhoosh experience. MyWhoosh, not just about the elite riders at the front of the race, it's about riders of all levels, whether you're out and riding the community tour that we've just had, some fantastic stages on there, loads of people completing that. It's been a fantastic experience to watch. It's been great watching riders completing that, and the social media that you can follow at MyWhoosh on Instagram and Facebook. It's about riders who are out and trading, using those live trading sessions, out completing missions on MyWhoosh, and of course those people who are out and racing on the Cycling Esports League that is back on Tuesday. Get your teams in. There's a number of teams in there already lined up for the racing. Will we see Michael Vink on the Cycling Esports League? Well, I'll tell you something. He's always aggressive. It'll be exciting to see. He's on the attack on the left-hand side of your screen. Vink with a 1-second gap to Osborne behind its panic stations. Pedersen is on his way. The problem that he's got is that he's got 2 teammates in front in Osborne and Vink, and the Scandi Racing squad now need to get their act together here. And Chase Hardegan's moving his way up here, trying to get onto the wheels, but they've been marked out by Knudsen here. So Michael Knudsen comes up onto Pedersen's wheel and says, well, if you're going to go, you can take another of the Boss Moves Only squad riders across, and that'll make it 3 at the front if you want to give me a lift, because he's got his 2 teammates in front, Jason Osborne and Michael Vink, and now Pedersen has to think about what he does here. How much support has he got? Jacob Dent is in the mix here for that Scandi, Team Scandi Racing. Remember, it's Degen, Pedersen, Dunn, and Andreasen. Due to represent the Team Scandi Racing now, Pedersen really has come to the fore on a course that should really suit him here today with those glides. He's certainly been looking very strong over the last few weeks. He's got company in this chase, but the gap, 7 seconds now. 2 leaders, 2 riders from the Boss Moves Only squad. Jason Osborne, world champion, with Michael Vink. And Pedersen at the moment really doing a lot of the work on the front here. You can see still out of the saddle, putting down 350 or so watts, kicks up to about 400. You can see that power going through. Nelson comes on to the 4. He's just going to go to the front and then dial it off, and he's just disrupting the chase there. He goes to the front. You see him coming through. He gets on the front, shuts off the throttle, 2.5 watts per kilo. And every time he does that, he's going to be disrupting that chase. Now, he's not physically able to block anybody. I mean, his avatar can't do that. But what it does do is it changes the rhythm, a bit like we were talking about before, when the gradient changes. When a rider comes in front, it changes the feel of that turbo trainer, of the resistance through the pedals, and that really does make it awkward when you get somebody doing that to you. When you're trying to chase down a breakaway, and we've got that breakaway here, we've got that gap. We've got it opened up in front, and that's what's happening at the moment. Category 1, the gap is opening. At Category 2, just seeing Joel Lewis leading the charge here at the moment. Big punch around him at the 28.8k marker. They've still got to make the way to the summit of the Dragon's Fury climb for the second time. Category 3 have gone over the top. They were led through by Rodrigo Coimbra from Kania, from Yazbek, Wisniewski, and Guarin, mopping up the points in Category 3. In Category 4, it was Termerton again scoring big points in that competition from Osario, Giuliano, Ivanov, and Angarita. In Category 5 at the top of the climb, Alvarez leading through. He was clear of Gremsel, Ligetska, Roncancio, and Young. Young scoring points again, second time up that climb. In Category 6, as they went over the top, we saw Daniel Dotto go over the top ahead of Visner, then Milano, Ibrahim, and Atruba. So, Category 2 and Category 1 still to come to the top of the Dragon's Fury climb for the second time. The rest of the race leaders have gone through that point. The furthest riders down the course, Category 6, they're at 42.3 kilometers covered of our 55.5 kilometer course here today. 1,018 meters of ascent. The total height to gain today. And each and every one of those meters is going to be felt by our riders as they make their way out around this course in Bhutan. One of the amazing worlds you can jump on board and ride. I've ridden a lot of the courses in Bhutan. I really love it. I think it's such a spectacular world to go riding. I have to say there's a lot of hills. As a fan of being able to ride on the flat, it might not be your cup of tea, but if you love hills, you're going to love Bhutan. It's spectacular. And the only consolation of going up is, of course, there's a down to follow on the other side. Can you get up the hills as quick as Michael Vink and Jason Osborne? That's a big ask. They've now opened up a gap of 20 seconds to the chasers behind. So Osborne and Vink at the moment, the dynamic duo. Not sure who's Batman and who's Robin out of the two. They're very evenly matched a lot of the time. At the moment, Osborne in the polka dot skin suit, Vink in the yellow jersey with a yellow cap on. Both almost side by side, synchronous in that ascent. They're clear of the front of the rest of the bunch in Category 1. Category 2, this is a real battle. Todd Iron Young nicely tucked into this group at the moment, making his way up this close. Alan Young at the moment nicely in the pack. That group has shed more riders this time around. Going to see how many will be in that group when they come up towards the summit. Ollie Simmons at the moment, well, he's just being passed up by the fast and furious dynamic duo behind. And now in front, Osborne with Vink have gone in front, and you can see the pace that they're climbing. Ollie Simmons is a prolific race winner in Category 2. He's a great sprinter, and yet you've seen the pace of the Category 1 leaders, including the world champion there, Jason Osborne, on the ascent. Osborne defending that title. He's not been off the podium at a World Championships in cycling esports. Former World Tour rider, now a full-time cycling esports rider. Certainly a man a lot of people look up to. As the Category 2 bunch come around this left-hand turn, in with Khan Kane, one of our regular riders. Okay, brothers have had a great month. They've been riding really strong. Both Burke and Khan Kane really have shown that they're back on form once again. The two Turkish riders at the front of the race. Khan Kane, particularly, I think this course suited him maybe more than Burke, but both riders in there, both Burke and Khan Kane in the leading group in Category 2 on the climb at the moment at the 30.7k marker. Michael Vink at the moment leading Jason Osborne on the climb here. Just looking to see where Osborne is here. Has that gap opened up to Osborne? Has Osborne been dropped here? Michael Vink was looking strong earlier on. Has the Vinkinator dropped Osborne? Osborne's coming back onto his wheel. Here he comes. Well, he's not been distanced yet. And the two leaders together at the 29.3K mark. So taking a look on the right-hand side of that screen, that's the Category 6 leaders at the moment, furthest along the race route of all of our riders. Category 2 and Category 1, though, on our screens. Category 2 on the right-hand side of your screen, that slight tailwind pushing SS up this climb, resplendent in that polka dot skin suit. The gap back to Cahill, 5 seconds at the moment. He's going to have to keep on pushing, though, because he's got to get all the way to that checkpoint at 32.2. But at the moment, SS not showing any signs of slowing, any signs of easing as he comes up towards the top of this climb. He's got to make his way to that right-hand hairpin and then come around the left and face the banner. He's got a little way to go, and at the moment, the way that Category 1 leaders Michael Vink and Jason Osborne are ripping through the Category 2 race field, they are coming past some absolutely class riders. Sammy Pieta, just going to see them come rocketing past. Damien Kieśnowski, the same here. These are riders who can absolutely pulverize the Category 2 field on their day. At the moment, well, they're just eating the dust of Vink and Osborne. Vink, again, every time he just opens that little bit of a gap, a response comes. Osborne goes onto the wheel, makes the most of the draft here, going into position. Vink, though, absolutely dialing this on his way up this climb. You can just see that direction of the wind when Osborne goes to his left-hand side of Vink, he gets into the draft, but each time it zigzags around, he's having to do the same to get into the draft. No similar speed rider for SS to take any draft from. He'll be trying to garner what little he can from the rest of the riders. You can just see it just flicking in a little bit of draft as he comes up past 18 kilometers an hour. It's not going to be a huge amount of advantage each time, but every little bit counts. The gap at the moment, 6 seconds to Angus Halley and Nicholas Trujillo, who are leading that charge behind. You can see the pack in green behind. They're looking to get that gap back down. They're not going to do it in time before the banner. The archway is in front. It's going to be maximum points twice in a row for SS, who goes underneath the checkpoint here today. So SS, 2 checkpoints, 2 maximum scores of 5 points as he goes underneath the Dragon's Fury climb banner for the second time around. Behind him, that bunch charging its way in towards the line. Trujillo, Halle, Ken, and Yazbek leading the charge through 31 riders behind SS at the moment. At the moment, just Yarhead and Ridley just starting to be distanced off the back of that group. They've got a little bit of work to do to get back into the pack here. That leading group in Category 2. SS, Trujillo, Halle, Kane, Yazbek, Kaplinski, Malur, Thiem, Bjorkland, Alan Young, Trujinski, Christensen, Bakken, Machado, Danes, Utkin, Brignall, Pinto, Burke Hensworth, Kane, Cahill, Bengston, Berlin, X100, Janaday, Lewis, Gombert, Walter, Frommer, Kalman, Van Erck, Kabawi, along with Bjarhead, and then Ridley, Graves, and Ospina distanced at the moment. So some big names in Graves and Ospina being distanced off that leading pack in Category 2 as they went over the top of the summit of Dragon's Fury for the second time around. So on your screens, Category 6, bottom right-hand side, they're your leaders on the road at the moment. 45.9K covered. Navarro, Milano, Ibrahim, Dotto, Atruba, Visner, Newman, the leading group. It's a select group now in Category 6 at the 46-kilometre marker. They've gone through that Trunks sprint for the second time, leaving Diego Navarro in that skin suit, so he will take away the win in the sprint competition. At 46.2k, they're coming off the top of the plateau, so 2 laps complete for Category 6. They're now going to go off-piste, as it were, and head out on to the new section of the course that takes them across to the Trunks Crescent climb. A little bit further behind, Osborne now stretches his legs, opens up a 2-second gap to Michael Vink, maximises his points in the climb competition. 2 maximum points on the way through of 5 points. That gives him 10 points in total. Osborne reaching that checkpoint in 48 minutes, 4.482 seconds. You can see the average watts per kilo to reach that stage, 5.329 watts per kilo. Jason Osborne's watts to achieve that, 373. Osborne, SS, Coimbra, Turmerton, Alvarez, and Dotto taking those checkpoint prizes. Remember, checkpoint prizes across all 6 race categories for the first rider to hit each of our checkpoints, whether that's a climb checkpoint or a sprint checkpoint. The next checkpoint for the Category 1 leaders will be at 40.7 kilometres, and it is predominantly, almost exclusively downhill, not totally. So Category 1 on the descent on the left-hand side of your screen. The gap to the chasing riders behind Osborne and Vink, 21 seconds. The chasing group made up of Van Elst, Vujasin, Pedersen, Dont, Tugels, Power, Jones, Knudsen, Dagan and Flubus, with Kaminsky and Panitsa. Behind them, then Plantero, Skirsky, Savrazedi, Paradians, with Milostic and Confession just about in touch in that second group. They've got work to do. Churek definitely distanced now for the Alpha Jaw squad. That's going to do them no favours when it comes to the overall team competition at the end of today in Category 1. Losing riders always bad news when you're out on the course, but today's course, it is brutal. Remember, 55.5k of distance, 1,018 meters of ascent, with the majority coming across the Dragon's Fury climb that's ascended twice, 254 meters ago, plus the final climb, the Trunks Crescent climb, which, whilst it's only 242 meters of ascent, its average gradient is 6% rather than 5%, and it's got maximum gradients on that slopes of 18%. Yep, 18%. So Category 1 leaders on the descent down at the moment. Osborne and Vink just about to approach Giselle Betty. Giselle Betty, one of our regular riders at the front of the race in Category 2, not to be today, just on that descent. See the disc wheel in the background out of that bike, because of course it's fastened to the smart trainer, just putting his revs down to 0. The rider goes into a super tuck. Thank you very much, Giselle. Perfect example there. You saw him stop pedaling. The rider goes into a super tuck. He starts pedaling again, kicks up the speed, and starts to drive on down. Good to see you, Giselle. It's a tough day at the office for everybody, I'm sure, here today. Sunshine in Brazil, which is Giselle Betty's home nation here today. Just see the breeze blowing, or the fan blowing the curtains in the background. Betty at the moment on this descent ahead of Ross Fawcett. So there is company available about 4 seconds back. You can just see coming behind him. Fawcett, I think, is latched onto the back of the Vink and Osborne duo. So not in real life, Giselle, but on the avatar, you're about to be joined by an express train coming down this hill in the shape of world champion Jason Osborne in the polka dot skin suit, and Michael Vink in the yellow, and a flying Ross Fawcett who's doing his best to hold on to their wheels on the descent as well. This is going to be a fantastic train to join. You see Betty here, real great technique here. So Betty out of the saddle here, lifting the pace up here. He knows that they're coming in hot. He knows they're coming in fast here. It's not the best section actually to get joined on, because you're going to have to work. But we've got another drop and then another little kicker So the guys in category 2 will want to be able to kick through these slightly uphill sections that are coming up with the category 1 riders. They should be just about able to do it. You can see the pace of Vink coming through. Vink just holding 6 watts per kilo, and he's doing it into this climb. This is really tough. So Betty gets caught coming in. This is the time to put in a big sprint effort for these two because they've got another long downhill section. The sprint to get onto the wheels is well worth it. If you can get that drive, get into the draft. The numbers are in black at the moment. It's really key to get in there quick. Can they do this? What are they going to do here, Betty? I think just choosing to ease a little bit here. They've got a little bit of draft from the category 5 rider, but it's minimal at the moment. That crosswind comes in. They really could do with just getting into the wheels, but this is the problem when the category 1 come past on an uphill section. It leaves you so little window. It's a tiny window to get onto the wheels. Force it sprinting. Betty sprinting here. They've got Bukowski at the moment. These 3 riders really want to get in. Now we start to see the effort paid off here. They've got into the draft. They've got in with the 2 category 1 riders, and now they need to ride that train for as long as they can before the speed blows them off the back. So category 1 real demonstration of how to use those riders as they come up and past. Really great way. You don't go faster with riding with people who are slower than you. It just doesn't happen. The way to go quicker is to get these really intensive bursts of riding with category 1. If you're category 2, riding with category 1. If you're category 5 or 6, even then, put sprinting, really drive on because you don't go faster. You don't ride 50k and distance, 55k distance, and then try and go quicker and quicker and quicker. What you need to do is go up in speed first and then extend the duration. That's physiology, that's coaching, basically theory behind it. So you drive that speed up first and then you try and extend that duration. So if you can't hold 50k an hour for 10 seconds, you're not going to hold 50k an hour for 50k. Ain't going to happen. So it's all about making sure that you build that speed and then build the duration. You've got to be able to get it up there first. And it's a great way to learn that, great practice, great training for our riders as they see these world-class riders like Michael Vink and Jason Osborne come past. A little bit of work to do for them to get up to Mikhail Utkin, who's looking to seal his 2nd sprint win here today. He's got the green jersey as the leader. Machado, we know, has got a great sprint on him, but may well be that it's being blunted a little bit by these climbs. Utkin's got the jump. He's going to take away the maximum points here. So Mikhail Utkin is going to take away both sprint checkpoints, and as long as he gets to our finish, going to be taking away the overall win in that sprinter's jersey. So good day at the office for Mikhail Utkin, the Finnish rider, looking strong at the moment. He's climbed with the very best. He's gone through and taken maximum points that time around. Great riding. So category 2 leaders through the sprint, the Tromsø sprint at the 40.7k mark at the moment. Just taking a little bit of a check of the distance on our category 6 riders. They're motoring their way along at the moment. 51.6k covered for Visner. And interestingly, Visner in category 6 has gone on to this climb. Now, this climb started at 51.1 kilometers, 600 meters in. And we are seeing Visner with a 13-second gap ahead of Dotto. So at the moment, leading this race out is Marek Visner. He's got the gap on the rest of the riders. What can Visner do here today? It's early. It's a big, big early push for him as he sets off here. He's ridden 4 Sunday race clubs so far, Marek Visner. He's taken a top 5 once. He's taken a King of the Mountains and a sprint jersey once before. He's got a long way to go to match Michael Vink and Jason Osborne in terms of overall wins. So our 2 leaders in category 1 coming in towards our sprint checkpoint Osborne has the polka dot skin suit. The group was all together as it came through sprint number one. It was relatively compact group as they come through this time around. Michael Vink and Jason Osborne have that gap. Vink's going to take those points now. He's going to hold that jersey. What we'll have to do is wait until the Category 1 riders come back through once again. On sprint number one, on trunks of sprint on lap one, it was Knudsen from Pedersen from Skierski Power and then Vink. So Vink has got 6 points in total. If Knudsen comes through in third place or Pedersen, he could take that jersey off Michael Vink. Michael Vink taking the checkpoint win in Category 1, Utkin in Category 2, Coimbra in Category 3, Villada in Category 4, Legetza in Category 5, and Navarro in Category 6. With just under an hour's racing done for Category 1. The last riders out of the pen. The riders expect to cover this course the fastest in terms of time. They won't be the first to the summit. That battle is going to be between our Category 6 and Category 5 riders. Legetza, the rider in Category 5, chasing Marek Wisner in Category 6, and that gap has opened up between Wisner and the rest of the riders here. Marek Wisner at the moment absolutely on fire as he comes up this climb. He's got those MV wheels on, the Giro d'Italia pink wheels from the MV squad on that Colnago Y1 bike at the moment. He's on a climb and he's climbing a bit like we've seen Del Toro ascend the mountains, the tour of the UAE, going, of course, to the Jebel Hafit, one of our regular stopping points on the Sunday race club. And it was great to see the riders out and racing that. And a rather star rider testing it out on MyWhoosh as well on the coverage, which was great to see. Checking it out both ways around, in person and on the MyWhoosh app as well. So great to see. You'll have to watch footage back to find out how it was, though. Not going to give you that spoiler. Meanwhile, the riders up on to this final climb here today. The Tronxa Crescent climb. Quick reminder, the climb checkpoint comes after 4K of climbing at the 55.1K marker, as the climb starts at 51.1. The checkpoint is at 55.1. Then there's a further 400 meters to the 55.5 kilometer finish. All the fives. So plenty of distance left for things to change if people don't get their pacing right on the climb. Wisner leading out Category 6, Category 5 being led by Legetska at the moment. The Category 4 race at the moment currently just approaching the base of that climb, about 1K to go until they start climbing. Category 3, 48.4K covered at the moment on the way in towards the climb, slight downhill at that point. Now, leader on the road in Category 6, Wisner leading this out. You can see the gap between himself and Legetza, the rider in the Category 5 race, leading interestingly behind Legetska in Category 5. David Young is looking strong at the moment. He's in second place. That's an interesting move. Can he close the gap down? It's a substantial gap. I think Legetska at the moment over a minute clear from Young. It's not a lot of race distance. You can see on the course map on that radar view that Young is ensconced within a big group of riders in Category 6. Meanwhile, Legetska is up the road around that full sweeping bend, but that's only going to be about a kilometre or so separating them out. So we'll have to see if that gap can be pulled down at all. So Young at the moment with Grimsel, with Duda, with Simael. They're climbing as a group. They've got time to pull back, though, 121, but that's not insurmountable in those last 3.5 kilometres. You can see riders lose so much time on a big climb like this. So young at the moment, the rider leading this training category. 5, Gremsel on his wheel here. You can see the blue helmet of Gremsel chasing David Young. David Young, one of our regular riders on screen, riding from the United States of America, looking strong at the moment, trying to get that gap down. He certainly wants to shed some of those riders behind him. Remember, in terms of the individual competition, there are prizes from 1st down to 10th position. But beyond that, every rider needs to keep riding because 3 riders from each and every team are required to give you that team time. Your fastest 3 riders on a team give you the team time when it's added together. And we have seen this be decided by quite literally fractions of a second. The smallest gap in the men's race, I said earlier on, 0.3 of a second this year. Faster, that's less of a gap than in the entirety of 2025. The smallest gap in 2025 was 0.7 of a second, 7.72 in November in category 2. The category 4 men, 0.3 of a second in our January final. That's all that separated them. And that is across 3 riders. So every position is critical for the team competition. Starting with category 2, at the moment, Kaplinski leading Malur, SS, Jasbeck and Bangston. They're just coming up to complete their 2nd full lap of the circuit here, the outer loop, loop 22.74. In with Benjamin Brignall, they should be used to the snow. The Canadians getting a great result in the ice hockey earlier on, and great to see in the curling earlier on at the hockey. I don't want to give that away because actually that's in progress I think today, so in case anybody's not watched, we'll not tell you what the result is. I don't know. That was my slip rather than a spoiler. Over the top, there you go. Benjamin Brignall looking very, very composed at the moment. Good to see the bike in the background. See the bladed seat pin now. I wonder whether it's a track bike rather than a road bike just behind him. But Brignall nicely in this group. Will it be his day up at the top of the climb when we go on to our final climb? Meanwhile, Jason Osborne, Michael Vink in category 1 still leading. That gap has opened up substantially now. It's going to be pretty insurmountable for the riders behind, but they're racing for those positions inside the top 10. Get about 34 seconds or so by the look of it. Just have to take another look in a while. But let's focus in on our category 6 leader, Marek Visner. Absolutely flying up here at the moment. He's going to set some new power records, I suspect, here today. Out on course, he's improved and improved. On men's qualifier race number 3, he came in 40th place. He said his 3rd and 2nd best power times in there across a range of durations from an hour right the way down to his maximum watts, his FTP. A really, really interesting rider. He's then progressed. He was best performances in Switzerland on the big climbs there. He raced really strongly with PBs across the board from the 20 minutes to 5 minute, the 1 minute, as well as the 5-second power best, and a new maximum heart rate, 180 beats a minute at the moment. His heart rate at the moment, 184. Well, Visner is improving. Lots of riders say you're going to be at your best when you're racing the Sunday Race Club. Even really experienced riders who do a lot of training say the way, if you want to get fast, race the Sunday Race Club each and every week. You can do so. You need to make sure that you download the app on iOS, Android, or on Windows. Make sure that your equipment meets the right specification because there are big prizes on offer. There is scrutiny across all 6 race categories, across every single rider, and you need to make sure you comply with those rules. You can find those rules and download them on the MyWhoosh.com webpage. So that's www.mywhoosh.com. Go to events. Don't go to the individual men's or women's races, and they'll be coming up for qualifier race number 1 for next month on that page. But go to the general Sunday Race Club page. On there, you can find the technical guide. You can find the rule set for MyWhoosh Premium events. As we see Marek Visner coming up to the archway to take the checkpoint prize here. You can also find out exactly how much that is on that self-same page as he goes underneath the archway here. Marek Visner takes that checkpoint. He gets the points in the jersey at the moment, but we'll have to let those riders come in to confirm that. because still a lot of riders who have scored points still to come to that point. I suspect he might be holding it. He scored really highly on both climbs so far, although didn't lead through on the first climb. He's doing well in those points. It may well be that with this checkpoint complete and 5 points in the bag, he's going to take away the win in the climbs competition. He's certainly going to be holding that jersey as he comes in to our finish, which is around a few more bends. The meters are ticking down. He's at 55.2 kilometers at the moment. So about 250 meters now, 200 meters for Marek Wisner. He's held off the challenge behind of category 5. He's held off the challenge in category 6. Wisner at the moment with the gap back. It's going to be a real battle behind Ibrahim Newman, a Truba. Dotto in the mix. Dotto just giving away about 10 to 15 seconds to those 3 riders in front. They're in 5th place, but there's no challenging Marek Wisner. He's going to come across the line first. He's going to take the win. It's his first win. He does it in the finals. He does it in style on the MyWhoosh Sunday race for Marek Wisner, your race winner in category 6. So Marek Wisner takes the first win, the first yellow jersey across all of those categories on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. It's the finals of February, and already we've got our first winner in and in yellow, because coming in over the line, Marek Wisner of the Level Titanium squad comes through. And as a quick reminder for you, in category 6 at Level Titanium, doing this the right way. They're going the right way about this to take away the team win. We'll bring in those as they come in. At the moment, though, you can see more riders battling their way up towards the summit in all sorts of categories. The category 1 riders not yet onto the final climb. Neither are category 2. Category 3 have just hit that climb, I think, at the moment, with category 4, 5 on the way up in terms of leaders. The category 6 winner in over the line. The riders coming in behind him. It's going to be a 2nd place for Malt Newman in category 6. A 3rd place for Ibrahim. Level Titanium coming ahead of Level Carbon, ahead of Level Steel. And then it's the first of the non-level team riders. And that's going to be Pedro Truba. He takes 4th place in category 6. So Level have got 3 riders over the line. The problem for them is that they're 3 different teams, the Titanium, the Carbon, and the Steel team. As we see the rest of these riders making the way in. Still not got 3 riders from any one team coming through. The BMC 60s with Navarro and Milano have actually got 2 riders in over the line. They could actually gazump everybody else in category 6. So category 6 team competition is wide open at the moment. It's going to go to those riders just inside the top 10 to decide the places, with 7 riders in and no team having 3 riders over the line. Level Steel have just got 2 riders come over the line. With Vladislav, a German, coming through. No team in with 3 riders yet in category 6. They're battling to the line. They're ahead of the category 5 leaders, ahead of category 4, where Chikors is leading them up here. Russimaki looking good. Mika Russimaki looking to take away the win, climbing well. It's a huge group of category 4 riders at the front of this race. Asario, Chikors, Giuliano in here. Angarita, Schultz, Ivanov is in here. He's going to be dangerous. Kochikov, Pippen as well. Canossa, Lascelles is in there. You cannot discount anybody in this group in the category 4 race at the moment. We're just seeing the stretch starting to open out on the front here. In category 4, in category 5, left-hand side of your screen, Legetska has got nearly a minute's gap to Gremsel. Then it's going to be a minute and 11 seconds to Savic. So Legetska's looking good as he comes into the last 200 meters. Category 4 race exploding off the front at the moment. That race really starting to break up behind. So at the moment, Gremsel chasing Legetska on the way into the line. There's going to be no stopping him as he comes in towards our finish here. Gramsel's taken the points in the King of the Mountains competition, but it's surely going to be Legetska who's going to take away the win as he's coming up towards the finish. Gregosek Legetska takes the win in Category 5, his first win on the Sunday Race Club. He does the business here. He takes the win. He takes the yellow skin suit. Gregosek Legetska takes the win in Category 5. He takes that from Thomas Gramsel. What a ride by Legetska as he comes in to the finish a minute ahead of anybody else and takes his win here today. So, two brand new winners in Category 6 and Category 5. In terms of teams, can now confirm Category 6 winning team, Level Titanium, come in with the win. Visner led them home ahead with Kalangag, Mamba, Atruba, Gachik and Tiger behind. The Truba and Gachik and Tiger racing for the Level BMC 6 squad, taking second place to Visner, Kalangad and Mamba's Level Titanium squad. The third team in that competition, Level Carbon. Fourth place at the moment, Quo Vadis coming through the Polish squad in Category 6. In Category 5, individual riders, Legetska, we just seen come in over the line. He takes the win in Category 5 from Thomas Gremsel, 51 seconds down. Now with Duda in third, Zimiel in fourth, Savage in fifth. As Termerton takes the win in Category 4, he takes that by 13 seconds from Arvin and Garita. So Termerton taking the win in the Category 4 race. Absolutely flying here today. A great ride from him to take the win, his first win on the Sunday Race Club as well. As Category 3 are being led up here by Jan Yazbek. What can Yazbek do here today? Can he break the trend of riders who are taking their first win? He's got what is a 10-second lead at the moment. Again, another rider who's not taken a win on the Sunday Race Club. 17 race participations, 1 4th or 5th place so far. So he's on one top 5. He's going to go underneath the polka dot banner with a 12-second gap. What can Jan Yazbek do? 13 seconds now to Wisniewski. What can Wisniewski do? Can he close down that gap? Kalman's at 20 seconds. Guarin also at 20 seconds. And looks like Johnson in that mix as well as Kanya. So a real budge, about 20 seconds down at the moment on Yazbek. But Yazbek has the gap to this rider. That's Wisniewski. 12 seconds separating first and second place at the moment in Category 3. Couple of 100 meters to go. Let's very quickly give you Category 4. Termerton from Angarita, from Ivanov, from Ponzi, from Schultz. They're your top 5. Category 4. Full results, www.mywhoosh.com/results. In with Category 3, Jan Yazbek's going to line up the finish. He comes around the right-hand turn. Here comes the banner. Jan Yazbek's going to take away the win, his first win. We've had 3 winners home. 3 brand new winners on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. They do it in the finals here in Sunday Race Club in February. Jan Yazbek taking the win in Category 3. He's going to come through ahead of Vinitsky. He's going to come through to take away second place. I think he's just got the gap on Guarin, who takes third, Johnson, who takes fourth, and Kalman, who rounds out the top 5. So the riders coming in thick and fast in Category 6, right the way through to Category 3, with 2 categories left on the road at the moment. We've got Maxine Yanade, the rider on the front at the moment in Category 2. So Yanade, the rider leading this out at the moment. What can Yanade do here on this course? On these final few turns on the twist that take him up towards the summit. He's at 53.2k, 53.1k at the moment. You see SS just being overtaken by Carboe along with Malura as they come charging past Maxence Janade. If he can come up to the top, he's going to take away his first win. He's 17 seconds on Carboe. So at the moment, Maxence Janaday leading out the French rider. Running for the French team in the World Championships, made the semi-finals in 2024 and in 2025. And former World Championship rower in the under-23 competition, Janaday. He's got his gap opened, but at the moment just holding about 16 seconds or so to a big chasing group in Category 2. In Category 1, Michael Vink has opened up the gap to Jason Osborne. It's at 8 seconds at the moment. Osborne can go at 6 watts per kilo. He needs to go over 6 watts per kilo because Michael Vink has got a 10-second gap at the moment, and every second counts, remember, in the team competition. Those team competitions, absolutely critical for all of the teams. In Category 6, we saw the win for Level Titanium. In Category 5, the lone bikers are coming ahead of Level Vamos and BMC Rule 5. In Category 4, lots of teams in the Pedal Club taking the win, with Timerton leading them home from Level Golden 4. As they came in over the line. Level Golden 4-2 coming in as third team. In Category 3, the What's Up team taking the win from Take What and the Black Horses. So What's Up, they definitely were up. Guari, Montoya and Gallo for the What's Up squad in Category 3. Category 2 and Category 1 to make their way to our finish. A quick reminder, 2 lines to cross on the way up at 55.1k. We need to go across the line for the checkpoint underneath that polka dot archway, and that is where we see the final points in the mountains competition being awarded, the final checkpoint prizes being allocated out, and that is for the first rider in each category. At the moment, that's Maxence Janaday in Category 2, along with Michael Vink in Category 1. Those riders have currently making the way up. They're separated by about 100 meters on the road. The Category 1 leader just ahead of the Category 2 leader, who's going to have Jason Osborne on his heels pretty quickly. I'd say he's about a turn and a half ahead at the moment of Osborne. Our Category 2 leader is sandwiched in between Category 1 leader and the Category 1 second place rider. So Osborne, the world champion in the polka dot skin suit at the moment, now giving away 15 seconds to his teammate Michael Vink. Every second will be critical for that team competition. The Boss Moose only squad, Osborne, Knudsen, Vink and Safasadi looking to take away the win this time around. What they're going to be able to do about this, very much a case of it's going to be decided on the slopes here today. Every rider's position in those teams critical. 3 riders times added together, your fastest 3 riders, and their times give you that total team time. Michael Vink leading underneath the polka dot banner. He takes the 5 points. He's not going to take away the win in the points competition. In terms of the climbs, that's going to be with Jason Osborne, who's about to go underneath that polka dot banner. He does. Michael Vink closing down riders. He's got that breadcrumb trail of riders in front of him. He's got to take his way around the left and right hand turns that take him in. The finish comes fast on the riders. He's at 55.3 kilometers, less than 200 meters to our race finish. In Category 1, Michael Vink leading this out. Second place at the moment is Jason Osborne. In front of Osborne is the leader of Category 2, Maxence Janaday. Janaday not losing very much time here to Vink. So 2 race leaders on the way to the line. The first there will be Michael Vink. Michael Vink takes his 53rd win on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club, taking the win in Category 1. He sets the fastest time out on the race route. Maxence Janaday is another of our first-time winners. It makes 5 out of the 6 race categories won by first-time winners. Maxence Janaday leaning home the Category 2 race in style. In Category 1, Michael Vink from Jason Osborne, our 2 riders over the line. Category 2, It was Maxence Janaday ahead of Jeffrey Miller in second place, Angus Halley in third, Angus Benston in fourth, Khan Kayan in fifth, Kabawi in sixth, Bert Kayan in seventh, Gomber in eighth, Trzynski in ninth, and Bakken in 10th place in category 2. All, of course, subject to confirmation, and that happens when our riders are all in over the line and all the rides are verified. SS coming up to the finishing line. Strong rise on our first two climbs. He's going to come through the finish line to take away the polka dot skin suit. He scored enough points on climbs 1 and 2 to put himself clear at the top of the climbs competition. So at the moment, we have our first two riders in category 1 in. Michael Vink taking the race win in 1 hour, 21 minutes, 11 seconds, ahead of Jason Osborne in second place, who takes the climbs skin suit and the climber's prize, 18 seconds down on our race leader. Linda Milostich climbing well for the Venga boys, comes in third place, ahead of Ollie Jones in fourth, with Niall Pedersen in fifth and Lionel Vujasin in sixth. Michael Knudsen comes through to be the third counter on the Boss Moose Only squad, taking seventh place, and Boss Moose Only taking the team win. Behind him, Stefan van Els leads his teammate Leonard Tugels coming through in 8th and 9th place, respectively, with Ruben Dont coming through in 10th place. In terms of the team competition in Category 1, Boss Moose Only from Venga Boys from Alpha Jaw are your top 3 in Category 1. In Category 2, it is the GOAT squad who've taken the win, with Shanna Day and Miller taking first and second place in Category 2, with Kane coming in and Bert Kane very strong in there as well. GOATs from Riders on the Storm, bigger gap than we've seen in previous weeks. Fantastic racing. Catch up with all the results on mywhoosh.com/results, where you can also download the MyWhoosh app on iOS, on Android, or on Windows. Don't forget, of course, you can catch up with all things at MyWhoosh on mywhooshinfo.com for all of those stats on screen. Don't forget, of course, you can watch back our women's race with Emma Martin. Taking the helm on the mic. That's on MyWhoosh on YouTube and on Twitch TV. Hit that subscribe button and tell your friends about it as well. You can catch up with the Sunday Race Club for our first qualifier in March next Sunday at what is our standard time throughout Ramadan on the 1st of March, the 8th and the 15th. Still to come as qualifiers 1, 2 and 3. The women's race kicking off at 7:25 in the evening Gulf Standard Time. I'll let you do your time zone adjustment. The men's race kicking off at 8:25 Gulf Standard Time. And of course, new races, new race routes. But today has seen some new winners. 5 brand new winners taking victory in Category 6 right the way through to Category 2. Congratulations to them on their first win. And congratulations to Michael Vink on his 53rd win on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. Thank you very much for watching. A big thank you to our riders for keeping us so entertained around the race route in Bhutan here today. A big thank you to the team behind the scenes who make the racing and the game happen, and all of MyWhoosh. And of course, a big thank you to the production team. My name's Matt Payne. You can catch up with me on the Sunday Race Club. You can follow me at Matt Fix Payne on Instagram. You can follow Emma at biking_Emma. Until next week, enjoy your riding. Jump on board the Cycling Esports League on Tuesday. Sign up if you haven't done already. Till then, I'll see you soon. Goodbye.